The Los Angeles Chargers just triggered a silent earthquake across the NFL. Yet the stadium feels quiet because the rest of the league is still asleep. After 10 wins in a playoff trip, the conversation somehow stuck on one ugly interception instead of the bigger truth that Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert have cracked open a brand new blueprint. Fans keep scrolling past the headlines, but behind closed doors, Los Angeles replaced weak spots at receiver, rebuilt the right side of the line, and opened negotiations for a certain lockdown corner who might turn an already elite defense into a nightmare. Look closer and the urgency jumps off the tape. Herbert posted a quoted passing grade of 90.2 that landed third in the entire league, even while his ground game ranked in the bottom tier and his receivers shuffled in and out with injuries. Harbaugh decided that was unacceptable. He convinced Greg Roman to plug in a power rushing scheme built for speed and bruises, then brought in fresh legs like Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton to keep the chains churning into December. Quiet upgrades, yes, but they hint at an offense ready to drown opponents under long drives before Herbert even looks deep. The shocking part is the new run attack is only the first ripple. Next, we unpack how this fresh trio of backs, Protector and Joe Alt, and a revitalized Mekhi Becton will flip field position, drain clocks, and force defenses to crash inside. That pressure is exactly when Herbert's arm turns ruthless. Stay with me, because the ground game you forgot to notice might be the fuse that lights the entire AFC race. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Chargers and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. The Chargers completely overhauled their run game, pairing rookie Omarion Hampton's explosiveness with Najee Harris's power behind a rebuilt offensive line led by Joe Alt and Mekhi Becton. With Greg Roman calling plays, this backfield is built to control the clock, punish defenses, and open up deep shots for Justin Herbert once opponents start selling out to stop the run. The numbers are out there, but they don't tell the full story. Justin Herbert didn't just survive last season, he elevated. In a year where everything around him was being reshaped, from the coaching staff to the run game, Herbert quietly put together one of the best passing seasons in the league. His quoted deep ball passing grade of 96.4 on throws over 10 yards was second only to Lamar Jackson. Yet somehow, all people seem to remember is a rough ending in the playoffs. The truth is, Herbert wasn't the problem. He was the reason they got there in the first place. What's getting overlooked is how little margin for error he had. Injuries hit the receiver room, the ground game was inconsistent, and the offensive line was still finding its rhythm. Even then, Herbert stayed aggressive. His 33 big-time throws tied him for third across the NFL, and he made those throws without a true WR1. That's not a system QB, that's a franchise cornerstone fighting through the noise. But now, the equation is changing. For the first time in years, Herbert walks into a season with a rebuilt line, a ground game designed to keep pressure off his shoulders, and young weapons ready to prove themselves. When you give a top-tier quarterback structure and rhythm, things click faster than anyone expects. And the scariest part for defenses? We haven't even touched on what this new receiver group is about to unleash. That's next. No one's paying enough attention to what the Chargers just did to their wide receiver room. While the spotlight stayed on other teams, Los Angeles quietly brought in new weapons who could completely shift the passing game. Rookie Trey Harris, taken in the second round, is already drawing buzz after leading the FBS in receiving yards per game last season with 128.8. At 6'2" and 205 pounds, he brings the size, speed, and physicality that Herbert's been missing on the outside. And unlike past additions, Harris doesn't need years to develop, he's built to contribute right now. Then there's first-year wideout Ladd McConkey, who's already turning heads after posting an 85.0 PFF receiving grade during his rookie season. While most people were focused on bigger-name receivers, McConkey quietly outperformed veterans and proved he can be a reliable route runner with elite separation skills. Combine that with the return of Mike Williams and a pivotal year for Quentin Johnston, and suddenly the Chargers have a mix of youth, experience, and upside that's never all been healthy at the same time. This is where things start to get dangerous. Herbert no longer needs to force throws into tight windows or rely on short checkdowns. These receivers give him vertical options, possession targets, and red zone mismatches. And it's not just about talent, it's about timing. For the first time in years, everything is coming together at the right moment. But it doesn't stop there, because this entire offensive engine only works if the protection up front holds strong. The Chargers prioritize the trenches over headlines, with Jim Harbaugh rebuilding the offensive line around rookie standout Joe Alt at tackle and a powerful Mekhi Becton at guard. Obsessed with detail and discipline, Harbaugh crafted a unit that protects Herbert, fuels the run game, and controls tempo. With Alt's precision, Becton's force, the offense now sets the tone instead of reacting. And with this kind of control, the defense stays fresh, setting the stage for a unit that already ranked second in points, allowed to become even more dangerous. While most teams struggled to stay balanced, the Chargers quietly built one of the most reliable defenses in football. Last season, they ranked second in the NFL in points allowed per game and led the entire league in touchdowns allowed. That wasn't a fluke. This unit didn't rely on flashy takeaways or lucky bounces. They were disciplined, efficient, and tough in the red zone. And they did it without making a ton of noise, which is exactly why no one's ready for what's coming next. At cornerback, they've got a foundation that's still growing. Veteran Dante Jackson brings experience and speed, while second-year player Cam Hart showed strong instincts during his rookie campaign. Add in Tarheeb Still, who's quickly becoming one of the most talked-about physical corners on the roster, and the Chargers are working with a room full of upside. It's a unit that already performed well, but still feels like it's one game-changer away from becoming elite. That's where the whispers begin. There's talk of a move that could shake up the entire secondary. A defensive leader who's been vocal about reuniting with Derwin James. Someone who brings not just talent, but presence. The kind of addition that changes how quarterbacks scan the field before the snap. Jalen Ramsey wants Los Angeles, and if the Chargers land him, their already strong defense could turn elite overnight. With an 85.7 run, stop grade, and 12 quarterback pressures last season, both among the best at his position, Ramsey brings more than coverage skills. He brings a mindset that rattles receivers and shrinks passing windows. Pairing him with Derwin, James would create a nightmare for opposing offenses, forcing impossible decisions on every snap. Add Ramsey to a defense already known for discipline and red zone toughness, and the Chargers suddenly have the pieces to dominate both sides of the ball. Everything the Los Angeles Chargers needed to fix, they did. The offensive line has size and chemistry. The backfield now features 3 distinct weapons, including a rookie workhorse in Omarion Hampton. The receiving core is a mix of explosive rookies and seasoned playmakers. And at quarterback, they've got Justin Herbert entering the season with the most complete support system of his career. This team is no longer trying to survive the AFC, they're positioned to control it. And if the front office lands Jalen Ramsey, this roster becomes one of the most balanced units in football. The craziest part? They didn't make noise. They didn't chase headlines or lean into off-season hype. They worked quietly, made targeted moves, and put the right people in place. Jim Harbaugh didn't just build a new version of the Chargers, he built one with long-term durability. They're not betting on one hot season. They're constructing something that can grow, peak, and stay dangerous over time. So here's the question. Are the Chargers being overlooked, or are they hiding in plain sight? What do you think their win total will be this season? Is this the year Herbert silences every critic? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you believe the league is underestimating Los Angeles, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more Chargers content.